All right. Well, last time we left off, the party had returned from their interdimensional travels, or interplanar travels, I suppose. Um, at least from what they've been told, back to their home world and home kingdom. Though it's not exactly as they remember leaving it, being dark and stormy and seemingly overrun. Um, there are a number of abandoned wagons and carts lining the road that they emerged near. And as they ventured out into the woods, they were attacked by a number of somewhat familiar undead foes, resembling the zombie-like creatures that they first encountered in a cave just to the northwest of Drake's Landing quite some time ago now. After escaping from that encounter, taking out a number of the creatures and kind of fleeing the scene before anything else could show up, you are now at the fringe of the woods at night in the less than hospitable weather. Best you can tell, you're somewhere south of Drake's Landing. So, what are you doing?
Are any of the wagons covered?
Some of them are still at least partially intact. Kind of bits and pieces. It looks like a number of them have kind of been scavenged to, help any other travelers continue on their way. But you could probably find something that would at least shelter you from the elements.
Which
I'm
way?
assuming it's raining.
Yes.
Yes.
Which way were the wagons traveling?
The majority of them seem to be traveling, or have been traveling, south.
Is that towards or away from Drake's Landing?
That would be away from Drake's Landing.
Okay.
So this may be isolated.
Well,
We should
it won't
probably
be
head in.
isolated for long.
Well, no. But... Should we head into Drake's Landing and take our chances, or should we go south and try to get out of this?
Did we have a purpose going to Drake's Landing?
I mean, there was the book,
Yeah,
that we needed to get.
He wanted a thing.
or the thing, yeah. I forget exactly what it is.
Old leather-bound book, weathered worn pages, and looks pieced together over centuries. Yep. So we probably should go to Drake's Landing, I guess. Because he said it's imperative we get our hands on it. But it may already be gone.
How long of a travel is Perrin?
From your exact location?
Approximately.
On foot, depending on exactly where you are between Perrin and Drake's Landing, could be anywhere from 3 to 5 days, assuming at least travelable weather.
What about not on foot?
Meaning what, on mount?
Yeah.
that was kind of the assumption.
No, because you said on foot.
Yeah, well,
Usually on foot is not on mount.
mounts have feet.
I think you just meant like walking, like
Yeah.
whether mounted or not.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
faster with them because we wouldn't really walk without being mounted, based
Yeah.
on everything we've done so far.
Okay.
Yeah, to clarify, I guess, overland.
Dang it. It let up rating for a second there.
And pick back up.
I mean, I'd prefer to know what we're walking into, but if it's imperative we get there first, I don't think we have time to. Maybe.
Well, looks like we're walking into what you're seeing. Or more of these zombies. Our best hope is to get into Drake's Landing, clear a house, secure it, and bunker down there, and see what we can figure out.
Well, as long as those things don't surround us and we don't catch the eye of any more aggressive creature.
Yeah.
Maybe someone left a journal or something somewhere in these wagons.
I'll help you search.
Can I search for any, like, news clippings or journals or anything to tell me, I don't know, the date or what's happened or anything, Eric?
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Looking especially under, in dry places.
Okay.
Do one as well.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right. So, yeah, looking around in the various wagons and carts and things that have been kind of cast aside along the road, it takes a while, and Maya, you kind of jump right into it, going through a number of the vehicles, so to speak, that you've seen kind of strewn about it would be the coastal side of the road, most of which are all pointed south. You don't really find anything of note there. As Togar kind of branches off and starts poking around some less centralized places, he finds a wagon over on the other side of the road, seemingly oriented in such a way that it might suggest a northward travel. And there, underneath a number of kind of bits of shrapnel and debris, seemingly resulting from other kind of wreckage along the road, you do find a few tattered pieces of paper that probably don't amount to more than 4 or 5 sheets, kind of haphazardly stuck together by what looks like maybe congealed blood and some sort of matted fur kind of stuck in the splotches of blood that keep these papers held together. The vast majority of the writing on these pages is either torn off, weathered, or stained beyond reading. But you can make out a few things.
Ooh. Um,
Werewolves.
wow. Okay. So I will walk back over to Maya and can she easily see it? Like, can you make it so that she can see it?
I can see
I
it.
think everyone can see
Yeah.
it right
Oh,
now.
everybody? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
shit! I didn't even see that. I was looking at Discord
Well-
expecting like a post.
Well, he can't see it. Apparently.
He failed his perception check.
Do I recognize the handwriting?
That's a bit of a long shot, but okay,
Worth
go ahead.
asking.
Go ahead and make a history check at disadvantage, given the worn nature of what you're looking at.
No.
Yeah,
I
that
Seems
was
to-
bad in any
Yes.
shape.
I tried
Yeah,
that
it kind of
crystal,
seems to evade you.
They're not the crystal, the fucking globe of messages.
I missed the first half of what you said. What was that?
I
He's
said I
looking
tried.
for the orb of sending.
Yes, that one. Couldn't think of what it was called.
Okay.
I've tried that since we got back, right?
Yes.
And I
Or-
never got a response.
I'm not sure if you tried it since we got back.
I'm pretty sure I tried to send him a message and never didn't get anything back.
You have done that recently.
I'm gonna look at mine and say I think this was Naren's writing. So, because I haven't gotten anything back from him.
I speculated the same thing.
Just simply because he's mentioning the march north. And he misses the sands.
I mean, I miss the sands.
But the blood that's holding this together, I mean, that could be blood magic.
Go ahead and let's see. What would I call this?
Or
Arcana?
dried blood.
Yeah, let's call this just a general wisdom check
Wisdom
for
check?
Togar. Yeah. Okay. The blood does not seem to have been placed intentionally. Rather, it seems like something bled pretty heavily in a somewhat uncontrolled manner, and well, whatever this struggle went on between whatever types of creatures might have been, one of them was probably of a more beastly tilt.
Oh shit.
Well,
I'm gonna jot those down in my little notebook thing that I've got.
Okay.
it seems if south of us is also bad, then we should probably conclude our business in Drake's Landing first.
Yeah, if we can. Alright, to the north it is.
Okay.
How long have we been awake.
It's been a while. You've got the equivalent of a drastic time zone shift going on.
Jet
Because,
lag.
yeah, kind of. It didn't take you very long after waking up in Sigil to find the guild hall from which you were sent back. So you do probably have a good bit of time still kind of at your disposal, but I think you had put a good bit of travel time in after being transported back to presumably home. I would say you've probably been awake at this point for 10 to 12 hours.
Do any trees look climbable?
Yeah, a number of them are probably easy enough to climb.
I see. Well, do we want to get up in a tree for the night soon, or?
I mean, we can probably overturn or cobble some kind of shelter with these wagons and set watches. I mean, if there's beasts around here too, I don't want to be trapped in a tree.
Well, I mean, we do have ranged options, and I just kind of tossed.
But no, if they can climb trees.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, I can help with that then. I'm pretty handy with tools. I'm trying to build stuff.
I'm assuming if we put some effort together, we can. Like, are these like Oregon Trail wagons?
Sort of. Probably a little more wood to their construction than just the canvas cloth that goes over the top. But I mean, you could certainly scrounge some materials from them.
Yeah, we can get roofs and out of the rain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was hoping. So, yeah, let's put some effort towards doing that.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess everyone who's working on a shelter, go ahead and give me a survival check.
Oh boy. That's one of my lowest. There we go. Bungdo and I just kind of sit back and manage while the rest of them do the dirty work.
Well, if it weren't for that management, you probably wouldn't have gotten too far. So I'd say it was effort or lack thereof well spent.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we sit back like construction crew management. We just kind of sit back and talk, and just make sure everybody does their thing.
We follow your instructions because we're clueless otherwise. You're the blacksmith, you know how to make things.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, probably another hour and a half goes by. Where specifically are you setting up this shelter?
On the road.
I would say we should do it like by the tent or the wagons, because it'd be easier to, put them where we want them and do what we need to.
Okay. So kind of splitting the difference between being purely out in the open and in the trees.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we can use the trees for at least partial cover from the rain while we work, and make the work a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
Is this? Can we like? Are we making a wagon? Like, can we make this wagon like able to be used as a wagon?
That was what I was going to ask, is if we had some time left, if I could, fix what was wrong with the wagon.
That's certainly feasible.
Can I assist?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So, bear in mind it is night at this point. It is dark out.
I have dark vision.
Never mind. I can't see.
I can't help.
I can help.
I can literally bring you over by the hand and say, lift here. We could make this work.
I can hold on to things for people to grab. Kind
I
of
can-
like a nurse for
Yeah.
What I
surgery.
would do is I would walk over and I'd hold on to Maya, and then I'd have Mage Hand grab Trogdor, and have kind of guide them.
What level can I turn into an elemental? Does anyone recall?
Higher.
I believe it's higher than you are now. Let's see.
think
You
it's a
might be
fifth
able to
level
do a
spell.
flying thing by now.
No, I'm just
No,
thinking about
that's eight.
something like fire elemental will be super bright.
Do you have conjure elementals?
You could
The
just
spell,
produce
no.
flame.
I mean, we have torches. I just didn't think we wanted light to announce our presence to everyone.
10th level that you can turn to an
Mhm.
elemental.
All right.
Soon.
Soon.
Real soon.
Cast produce breath weapon on.
Well-
and set the forest on fire.
Bungdo can see in the dark, so he builds y'all a shelter.
As can I. So.
Okay. So are you going to then put off the wagon work, or are you going to try and push through and do that tonight?
I
I
mean,
mean, we
it's,
should still have time,
yeah,
even though
if
it's dark.
if we do have time, I would like to push on and get it functional.
Okay. So bearing that in mind, I would say, since you had the idea, you probably instructed everyone to more or less patch together an existing wagon. And while it's certainly serviceable as a shelter, it would take a little more work on your part, Togar, or whoever were to help to get it mobile once again. So for that, let's have you go ahead and make
Everyone?
anyone who's helping kind of this after hours wagon fixing endeavor. What would make sense? Let's call that. How about this? For Togar, let's call it a dex check.
All right.
Okay. And
Can I do a dex check?
I would say yes, but you'd make it a disadvantage because you're not familiar with exactly what you need to be doing. You're kind of trying to follow instructions.
Dang it.
All right.
I tried.
So, if that's it,
What would
Um,
Bungdo make?
okay, Bungdo's helping. I would say you could go ahead and make another dex check.
Oh boy.
Oh boy! Bungdo literally picks up a hammer, goes to swing, misses, and hits his own hand, and then just throws the hammer down and walks away.
Alright, well, it's dark, it's wet, it's slippery, it's just not coming together for you guys tonight.
Just for the lulz.
Yeah, basically. I imagine that's just that is Bungdo.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Oh my god!
So, yeah, you do at least have a shelter for the evening, but mobility is going to be a little bit more of a time investment than maybe you initially thought.
Yep, that's fine. I just kind of say, well, bring all the supplies in with us so nothing happens. Like the extra wheel and a few things. And we'll seal up for the night, and I'll make sure everything's watertight, or at least as watertight as I can get it.
Okay. So, all of you being kind of in the wagon for the evening, I assume you're going to try and get a long rest out of this whole deal here.
I would
just-
also additionally like to build a box around myself
Okay.
to sleep in.
I'll find him I'll help him find a crate, and we'll just bring one of the crates in.
I mean, that works.
All right. That's fine. That's easily enough done. So, yes, Bungo has his own little crate in which to sleep.
And just for
Do
the
you
shits and
find some
giggles,
canvas and put it in the bottom to make like a bed?
yeah, and just for shits and giggles, I carved like with my one of my kunai, I carved Bungdo in the top.
It's a bungdo
Okay.
box.
It's a Bungdo box.
I just want to tell everyone that I will be absolutely useless keeping watch tonight.
Why?
All
I
we
don't
to
have
do
dark
is-
vision.
It's fine. I mean, it's me, Lilith, and Bungdo can all keep
My
watch.
Steve.
Didn't we discuss last week that none of us actually have to keep watch between?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, between the steed and the raven. That's right.
Yeah.
That works.
What would
Mhm.
anyone ever need with a D30?
Stuff.
Look at how.
Pray to
pointless
God
it
we never
is.
find out.
All right.
Because I believe that's used for some, like, specialty high tier roles. I could be wrong, but it makes me uncomfortable.
Okay. So, are you resting for the evening, or is there anything else you guys want to do before kind of turning in?
Have to-
I have nothing.
I'm sleepy.
I'm gonna
All
sleep
right.
with the Steed watch.
Okay. So Trogdor Steed's taking first watch.
I don't know what its modifier is.
It's alright, I can handle that. Okay. So, yeah. You all kind of tuck in for the night, and certainly not ideal sleeping conditions, but you do make it through first watch undisturbed. And so then I suppose we move on to the Raven's Watch. I mean, can't remember if the steed can just watch all night, but
They can
Not
watch
weird.
together.
Yeah, but the Raven doesn't sleep, so.
Okay.
I guess-
all right. Well then, go ahead and actually, I can pull Raven. Laura, go ahead and roll a d20.
Remind me how.
Just there's a box.
There's a box.
You know, in the upper left, there's a picture of a dice.
Is the command if you need it, though? Without the hash.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, most of the night goes by. Maybe a bit loudly, but pretty uneventfully. Maybe 6 or 7 hours into your rest. Togar, you are awakened by the distant growling, snarling sounds of some sort of beast outside your shelter. Not nearby, but definitely discernible and loud enough to wake you up. Around this time, the familiars wake up their masters as well.
I want to quietly peek out, see what's going on.
Okay. You don't have dark vision, do you? Go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage.
Is it 6 or 7 hours morning yet?
Not quite.
I'll like kind of poke him in the leg and say, hey, lift me up, I can see.
Well, does he wake you?
Well, I was awake.
I'm gonna look out too.
I'm short.
Yeah.
I need a boost. Pick me up,
Lifting the
trapdoor.
door.
Alright.
Okay. Off in the distance, down the road, Togar, you can see there is a somewhat large, furry creature, kind of hunched over what looks to be a humanoid body of some sort. You hear the tearing and crunching as the creature is digging into the body that doesn't really seem to be reacting in any way. But that's about all you can make out.
Was it in the direction of where we killed the zombies?
It's kind of down the road rather than back toward the woods. You killed the zombies in the woods, so that would have been to your east. And this thing is actually a bit north of where you are along the road.
Okay, so it's towards town.
Yes.
Alright. It's just like a giant wolf?
It's a beast.
It's a beast. You can't really make out any features
Okay.
other than it's pretty big. Probably in game terms, kind of riding that line between medium and large.
Alright.
Like the size of a Goliath. Like
Yeah,
70
thereabouts.
pounds.
Okay. Is it a quadruped or is it a bipedal?
Well, it currently has its back turned to you and seems to be hunched over at the very least. You can't tell if it's a bipedal creature that's hunched or a quadruped that is just in its natural posture. But either way, it is down to the point where it certainly sounds like it's just digging in with its teeth, fangs, what have you, into this body.
Okay. I relay all this information. Say, I think it's eating something.
We go check it out.
I guess. I mean, are you guys rested? Are you guys good?
In 6 or 7 hours, it's long enough for a long rest. Eric?
It's close. I mean, technically this is not a long rest yet.
I'll telepathically tell my steed to just keep watch, but keep its distance. And then I'll relay that information to everyone else who's nearby, and then I'm just gonna go back to sleep.
Okay. How about the other two who are awake?
Would I take any exhaustion if I stayed up from this point?
No. Because you can do 2 hours without doing anything.
Right. Yeah, you can, for example, keep watch or whatever. As long as you're not actively engaging in something.
No, I'm actually just kind of, I'm going to stay up and just kind of look over the parts that we brought into the wagon with us.
Okay.
Just quietly, just inspect them, make sure, bearings are good, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna stay up and keep an eye on it too, because I only need 4 hours of meditation.
That is true.
Like, I'm just seeing if it comes near us or anything.
Okay.
That works.
All right. So, as the next hour or two kind of wear on, you see the thing finish picking at whatever it's been eating on. And then it sort of begins wandering between wagons. And at this point, Laura, go ahead and make another perception check. Okay. Can't really make out any more detail as things form, but it certainly seems to be strong enough to move at least large portions of wagons in order to see what might be underneath them or kind of poke around for whatever it might be looking for. After checking out 2 or 3 wagons, the thing promptly turns and faces the woods. And you can see running out from the tree line are a couple of the familiar undead creatures that the group faced yesterday. And as it makes eye contact with the things, the creature lets out this loud and proceeds to stand up on 2 feet and launch itself in the direction of these undead creatures,
As soon as
just
I
out
hear
of your
that,
line of sight.
I run over there and I'm watching out too.
Does that wake up Bungdo?
I probably tripped over Bungdo on the way over, so yeah.
Yeah, either way, as soon as the actual horror breaks out, I would say anyone who has not been awake is awakened by that.
Okay.
I'll say Morpheus is fighting Neo.
You what?
What?
Matrix reference.
They wouldn't know
Hell,
that.
Matrix. What the hell is the Matrix? Have you lost your mind?
Meta jokes are meta.
Yep.
Oh, as you're kind of looking around confusedly at one of the sounds of combat kind of erupting from just beyond your line of sight from the wagon.
I kind of
I
want to
wasn't-
watch.
Yeah, I'm fine with them fighting.
I wasn't ever. The amount of enemies spoken, was that said? I just heard undead and that creature you're fighting.
Well, you were asleep, so you wouldn't know.
Okay.
Is it still dark out?
It's right around dawn at this point.
Oh, okay. So I can see it.
Yeah.
I would like to watch too.
I'm gonna say, let's get on top of the wagon.
Or let's not.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see just poking your head out of the wagon, so you would have to, in some capacity, leave it if you wanted to actually watch what's going on.
want to tell my steed to narrate the battle for me. Telepathically.
So you just want the dragon to kind of creep around and just
Play
peek
by
around the
play.
corner?
Keep watch.
I'm gonna go out and try to climb onto the side of the wagon. Is it still raining, like, pouring?
It is still quite rainy out, yes.
Yeah, if I get off, still climb up there and take a look.
Okay.
Bungdo joins him.
Alright. And are you trying to be somewhat sneaky about this?
I would prefer not to alert them of our presence, yes.
Alright. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
I walk out,
Like ninja.
turn around to Bung to go, shh.
Bungdo just looks at him kind of confused and flabbergasted.
My steed's going with you.
Bets him 20 gold that the werewolf thing he'll win, or the beastie.
Okay.
I don't have 20 gold.
Pathetic!
So, yeah, the two of you kind of climb up to the top of the wagon, and Trogdor's steed begins to kind of inch forward and manages to maintain a pretty low profile up until it tries to kind of crane its neck around a nearby wagon. I would say Togar and Bungdo are able to watch a bit of the fight before this happens. And you see two of these undead creatures fighting with this kind of beastly humanoid thing that attacks with sharp, bloody claws and long, jagged teeth.
Does Bungdo recognize what it is?
Let's see. Go ahead and make. I guess we'd call that a nature check. Okay. It certainly seems to resemble what you've heard described as like were creatures.
Ooh.
Kind of a bipedal humanoid thing with some beast components to them. This particular one does seem a bit wolf-like.
It's a direwolf, because it's over there.
So,
Flopping through the mud towards the fight, just watching.
yeah, well, the steed manages to keep a pretty low profile. And the two of you who are up on the cart watch as the thing just eviscerates the first undead creature. And you see a spray of green kind of splash out from its abdominal cavity, which from this distance you're not sure, but it kind of looks like those worms. Around that time, the steed makes it up to the wagon that it's about to peer around the corner of. Yeah, I know, that's what I thought of too. And as it kind of cranes its neck around, the wagon seems to kind of finish tipping over, as it had already been a little bit off balance. And there's a loud creak and groan followed by a crash as the thing entirely falls onto its side. The beastly creature, werewolf probably, immediately turns and fixes its eyes on Steed. And with a snarl, it turns around, dropping the second undead creature with one last swipe of its claws. And then you see this red, visceral eruption out of the back of this creature. It seems almost as though it's a spray of blood, two sprays of blood, one out of each shoulder blade. And just as the blood seems about to fall to the ground, it stops and coalesces into the form of a pair of wings.
Jesus.
The creature pushes off from the ground toward the woods and flies off out of sight.
Before it goes, can I yell out Naren?
Sure. Go ahead and, I mean, I would say it's just yelling. You don't really need to make much of a check.
Yeah.
Constitution save.
Why is
Yelling so loud that he throws up.
Steed narrated all that to me, and when he mentioned the blood wings, I nearly shat myself.
Alright, there is no response. Thing just flies off over the tree line into the still somewhat dark looking woods.
I look over at Bungdo, I say, that was fucking cool.
Right. I want wings like that.
Same here. Let's go in and tell the others. Climb down.
Sweet. The way Bungdo gets down is quite cool indeed. Does a double backflip off the wagon, lands on one knee like a superhero.
Of course he does, he's Bungdo.
I just climb down. Nice and safe.
Alright. So,
Go inside
Yeah.
and say, hey, relay everything that happened.
Is the werewolf still out there?
Nope, it flew away.
Okay, I was. It sounded. I missed part of it. It sounded like there was like a second entity that flew away.
Nope, it was it took down both of the undead, and then sprouted blood wings and flew away. Because it's freaking sweet.
Yeah, that sounds.
That's one word.
Sure.
I'm sure I have no idea what this thing is.
I don't either, but I personally think it's a blood mage.
Alright, you gonna
Because-
tell us about that?
Huh?
You
Well,
gonna
no,
tell us what that is?
Yeah, that's right. So we went out to the desert before we met up with you and met these blood mages, one of which gave me the Sending Stone. His name was Naren, and I had previously had a Hemomancer's Stone of his, and I could, it was basically a part of him, I think. It was some weird stuff, but, they're like you, they do magic, but their focus is blood. And so, everything that they do with their own blood. And it's really, really cool. So, I mean, the thing would have attacked us if it was malicious to us.
Did it
Or-
see you?
Yes. It noticed, and then it flew away.
well, it certainly noticed the steed. It's hard to say whether it noticed you.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, I mean, it noticed the steed, and it took off.
Well, I mean, it might have not cared.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. But at least we're safe with the steed, because it seems to be afraid of the steed. but I don't think it was too malicious. Not towards us, at least. Because why wouldn't it attack the steed?
Was it eating something on the ground?
While I was up there, could I see what that was? Like, did I have a high enough vantage point?
Yeah, I would say you'd at least have a line on it. Kind of make a retroactive perception check to figure out specifics on what it was. Okay. So, from what you could tell from your vantage point, it was certainly a humanoid figure. And the interesting thing about what you saw as the werewolf kind of left that particular area and started rooting around is the corpse didn't seem to be bloody at all. It was just kind of a mass of flesh and bones, but no blood to be seen anywhere.
I think it's a pretty big leap from not attacking the steed to not being malicious.
Yeah. I'm gonna send my raven out to get a closer look at whatever it was.
The whatever the kill was on the road, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d20. Okay. So you send the raven out, and looking around, it seems pretty safe, and so it's able to kind of get in close, and get a pretty good look. And the most notable thing about the body on the road is, the abdomen and lower body are essentially in tatters. They've been eaten or torn away. The face and head area are still intact, and along those you can see a number of holes, similar to what you saw on the undead creatures that were with us. Even at this distance, there doesn't seem to be any blood present, but you can see a number of green worms scattered all around, still wriggling, still very much alive from the things.
Well, I tell everyone else about it.
So what we got on our hands is a vampiric werewolf blood mage.
Well, we should probably kill the worms while we're at this, though.
I light fires under them.
Here's a question. Did the zombies we fought before, were they bleeding, or were they...
Go ahead and make a history check.
Alright.
If they did, you certainly don't really remember it.
I'll ask Bungdo, since he got really up close and personal with the thing. So, hey,
What was the question?
Hey Bungdo, when you got the hug from Mummy Dearest last night, was there any blood? Did you see any blood at all, or was it just worms?
I see blood? I think it was just worms.
What'd you say, Eric?
That. You do not remember seeing any blood, whether from the wounds where the worms had come crawling out, or coming from any of the creatures that you fought.
I'm pretty sure it was just worms. I don't remember any blood at all.
So, that thing must be I don't know what it's doing, but it's taking out the zombies. There's no blood, so it's not stealing their blood. I don't know. I still don't. That thing was covered in worms too, so maybe it's just malicious towards them. I mean, it would make sense that it would be a, and I pull out my note and show this where it says the sands, and talking about missing the sands in the notes. It would make sense for it to be a potential blood mage. Now, them being a werewolf is kind of scary.
There's lots of people that live in the desert.
Yeah, but who would be coming up north? Like, if you look at the notes, clearly somebody was coming up to stop this.
I
Didn't
mean,
Say something.
people of my order would, if they felt it was necessary.
Didn't you tell Naren that we were gonna go to Drake's Landing at one point?
I believe I did. I'm pretty sure we talked to him.
Or maybe you didn't get the response because he's now that thing.
It very well could be.
I want to keep an eye on Togar because I think he's, having one of those reactions where people are like terrified, so they're looking for anything familiar.
Okay. I mean, is this something that you would like to make a check for, or just kind of please note?
I'm just gonna watch him.
Okay.
Aliens! As I put on my tin hat.
How far away was it where that thing was fighting the undead?
How far away from your wagon?
Yeah.
Probably would have been something like 300 feet.
I want to light a torch. I'll get out of the wagon and light a torch if it's.
It's day.
alright. It is?
Yeah.
It is. It's morning.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna just get out of the wagon and I want to go over there.
Okay.
I'll go with him.
Steve, he's gonna come with me as well.
I'm gonna. I believe I still have the sending stone. I'm gonna focus on it and say, Naren, if you can hear me, I think we found one of your kin. A werewolf.
Okay. Let me quick look at some. Okay. So, let me take a quick look at one other thing.
Oh boy.
What was your message again?
It was, Naren, if you can hear me, I believe I found one of your kin, a werewolf.
Okay. Bungdo, you hear that message?
What? Can I respond?
You can try.
I think really, really hard and try and respond telepathically. And I
How
think
so?
to Togar. What? Do I know it's Togar?
Sounds like Togar.
Okay. Say, Togar, why are you talking to me?
Do I get that
Actually-
back?
Yeah.
Mind melded.
I look over at Bungdo and say, what the hell?
What?
This is supposed to be linked to Naren. How did it go to you?
I don't bloody know. I'm just as confused as you are.
I look in his box. Do I see anything? Or is it completely empty?
Like his sleeping box?
Yeah.
What would be in there?
Yeah, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary.
What do you have, Bungdo? Like, what was the last thing? Did you pick anything up last night?
Oh, god damn it.
What?
That's for the gem.
Oh,
Yeah.
You picked up the gem?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, that fucking seals it right there. That's gotta be Naren out there.
Well, it's my gem now.
Oh, I mean, he was probably traveling with someone.
Or, but I mean, they're a blood mage. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But hopefully, I don't know what. Did I ever see Naren's handwriting?
That Arcana check was for the gem, by the way, Eric. I don't know if it's magical or if it's just like a messenger thingy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a sending stone.
Okay.
The companion to the one I have.
Presumably.
Yay! Shenanigans!
Anyway, but yeah, so, which wagon did you find that in?
I show him the one that I found it in. I don't recall which.
Okay.
Was it the same one that he found the note in?
Well, if I remembered which one it was, I would probably know that.
That was the one going north.
I do not know which one it is.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying.
If we could pause, I could explain. So they were actually not found in the same wagon. One was found in clearly the one that was headed north, is where you found the journal pages. But then there was a kind of little stash of things stashed away in a separate wagon nearby, but not, at least at first glance, in any way associated with the one in which you found the journal pages.
Was that one was headed south then?
Looks to be.
Can I poke around that one a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check. Okay. So looking around that wagon, you kind of begin cracking open any containers or what have you that can be found in and around. And you see...
Can I look with him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look and turn detect magic on.
Okay. Alright. So as all of you are looking around in this wagon, you find a number of look like food and water stores, like they've been kind of accumulated from perhaps scavenging around other nearby wagons and such.
I start putting them in our wagon.
Okay.
No other notes or anything like that, or anything that would indicate that it could possibly be an Iran or anything.
No.
Anything magical?
Nothing magical.
Did I ever get to the spot thing was at?
Yeah. And you said you're heading up there with your steed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what specifically are you doing?
I wanted to look for tracks where this thing walked off into the woods.
Well, it flew off into the woods.
I would like to go off into the woods in the direction it went.
By yourself?
With my steed.
I'm gonna go with you.
Okay. So, Trogdor and Lilith are just striking out into the woods.
I want to try and fix the wagon now that it's day.
Okay. Alright, Trogdor and Lilith, go ahead and make perception checks. Alright. You're walking through the woods, which are considerably less intimidating than, even the modest kind of dull daylight that's now shining down. The entire area does still seem to be pretty overcast, but any light helps. You go on for maybe 5 minutes or so. And as you're kind of keeping an eye out, looking around for any signs of, well, anything, but in particular the creature that you saw down the road. Trogdor, you notice that Lilith is just about to step into the reach of what looks like half of an undead creature that seems to be reaching out for her ankle.
I want to smack it.
Okay. And so you lunge out in front of her, swinging your mace and crushing the thing's skull, and it stops moving.
Should be careful. Apparently there's still some walking around.
Crawling.
Traveling.
Yeah. Beyond that, you don't see anything, at least as far as your eyesight will cover, your short trip into the woods. I don't know if you'd like to keep going, or... well, it's up to you.
An enemy of my enemy is a friend, and that thing's killing my enemies. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. And Lilith?
Someone wants to roll a Goliath Barbarian.
Is Lilith still going with him? Is Laura muted? Or gone?
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you.
Hey. Yeah, I'm going with them.
Okay. Alright. So you keep going. And after a few more minutes, you see another mangled corpse. A number of green worms still kind of wriggling on the ground nearby.
Fire.
Go ahead and make one more perception check, both of you.
Oh,
Someone's perceptive today.
Alright. Just as you're beginning to think this might have all been in vain, Trogdor, you hear the faintest, softest breathing coming from above you in a tree. You look up and you see, braced there, perfectly still, is a large, wolf-like figure just staring down at you.
I just want to wave up at it and say, well, hello there.
So I would obviously look up after he does that. Does it look hostile?
Certainly seems on edge, if not hostile.
Does it look like a beast or a creature?
Well, anything that lives, so to speak, qualifies as a creature. So there's that.
Like, intelligent.
Oh, okay. I got you. There is a sort of human spark to its gaze, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It does seem to grasp the situation. And so Trogdor just says, hello there.
Yeah, if it doesn't respond, I'm going to sit down and start playing my pan flute.
Tortured into talking.
Very well.
Oh!
Well, as you're in the process of sitting down and beginning to play your pan flute, the creature just kind of lets itself fall from the tree and lands with a loud thump in front of you. And kind of narrows its eyes, looking at Lilith, and then looks back over at Trogdor. And what you could almost swear is a nod seems to take a couple steps back, and you see the blood-matted fur creature begin to recede back into its body. And standing there in front of you is Naren.
Did I hear a thud of it falling?
They're several minutes into the woods at this point.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I want to stand back up and say it's been a long time, and reach my hand out to shake his hand.
He nods, puts his hand out to shake yours, and says, "Indeed it has. Where have you been?"
We ended up going to a couple different realms, dimensions, not sure exactly what it would be called. How long exactly has it been since we last spoke?
Thinks for a moment. It was probably better part of 6 months.
Oh, jeez. To us,
How
it
long?
only seemed like I think since last time we talked in person, maybe a month.
Yeah, and just, out of game so you guys can kind of have some perspective on it. Yeah, probably about a month since you last saw him in person, and I mean, since you spoke to him, you probably spoke to him from your perspective earlier in the week through the sending stone.
Yep. And I got no response.
I'm gonna ask him what's been going on. Why is there so many undead in the area?
He says, I'm not sure the cause. My companions and I were attacked along the road, scattered to the winds, so to speak, and well, I've been doing my best to come to terms with what you've seen here.
Do you have any idea how long this has been going on?
First, felt the presence of whatever has taken up residence in Drake's Landing about 2 months after you left the settlement.
That's about a month after we were gone from this world.
So it would seem.
We should head back to camp. The rest of the group's there.
I'm not sure that would be wise.
So we're supposed to just leave them? And not fill them in?
He seems to take a moment and kind of formulate how he's going to say what he's going to say. But eventually, says, it's taking a great deal of willpower to keep my other side in check. And while it would be such a joy to see all of your companions again, I'm afraid it would only introduce more potential for harm.
How long has this affliction been affecting you? And do you have any idea of what help?
I didn't catch the last part.
If you had any idea of what could help?
I've been attempting to master this now for nearly 3 months. I've gotten considerably better at it. Still a struggle, particularly in this environment where there are a precious few friends to concern yourself with.
What caused this to happen to you?
My own foolishness. My party and I were attacked by similar creatures as we left the desert. A few days after we crossed into this northern area. and out of the sands. We drove off a number of them, and one of them we had injured to the point where it couldn't flee. And having at least some concept of what these things are, I elected to take it captive and see if it could be put to good use. And in a way, it certainly has been useful, but can't help but wonder where I would had I chosen to simply let the others kill the beast.
Would you like me to attempt to cure you of this?
Just to think about that. And kind of looks down, pondering, back up at you, and almost instantaneously sprouts fur again, and just launches himself back up into the trees. And begins jumping from massive trunk to tree trunk, away, deeper into the woods.
Gonna take that as a no. I guess, go back to camp.
Okay.
So when Trogdor and Lilith walk...
What's everyone else doing in the meantime? Still working on the wagon?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and make those dex checks again.
Well, that was a deck save, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's alright. Okay. It's not the smoothest ride in the world, but I would say with those rolls you are able to at least create a functional wagon. Maybe you have a mismatched wheel here or there, but it rolls.
So we can ask.
And as you're putting the finishing touches on this, Lilith and Trogdor come walking out of the accompanied by the steed.
Oh. Hey guys, so, you know that thing Bungdo found? I think it was Naren's.
It most definitely could have been. We went and tracked that creature down, and it turns out that actually was Naren.
I look over at Maya with the most shit-eating grin on my face.
Maya isn't looking at you.
And I hold up the notes and I say, I thought this sounded like Naren. Let me guess, he was the one who, and I kind of point to the end, and he was the one that wanted to save it, right?
Yeah.
I knew it! I knew that was how he would be.
Apparently, just in the past few months, became afflicted with some kind of, I don't know if it's a curse or a disease or what it is.
It's a
But-
werewolf. If
Yeah.
you look right here, they were attacked by creatures of the wood, and he spared one, and it ended up being a werewolf.
Yeah,
It
he
all makes
told me
sense.
all about it and whatnot. Just, I don't know exactly what it would be considered.
Well, where is he? Why didn't you bring him back?
He has a hard time controlling his, I guess, humanity to a degree.
Well,
All of,
being around people he knows help?
He was worried that he would lose control and end up harming someone. I'm sure we could track him down at a later point. Especially now that he knows we're here, I'm sure he won't travel too far.
Yeah, but I want to talk to him. By the way, did you find out how long we've been gone?
Roughly 5 or 6 months.
What? Oh shit.
And apparently this whole undead thing has been going on since about, in this world, about a month after we disappeared. But for us, like, it's been only like a week or two.
Wow. Well, if these are his notes, which it sounds like they are, they're a day south, or I mean a day north of the sands is where this mess begins.
Yeah, they said he ran into a bunch of these creatures shortly after getting to the woods.
And looking at this now, yeah, so Helmfirth, Perrin are pretty much guaranteed to have been overrun.
I mean,
Well, those things could have been a completely separate incident. He said he
Well-
only sensed this power coming from Drake's Landing.
But in his notes,
Hey, Togar, go ahead and make a wisdom check for me, real.
okay.
Okay, carry on.
In his notes, he mentions Brill. So if you follow the line from Drake's Landing to Brill on a map,
I mean, it could have started in Drake's Landing and moved south. It's not necessarily.
well, that's what I'm saying. But if it's stretched all the way to Brill, that's halfway across the country.
I mean, the
That's like-
terrain might be more amenable to them that direction.
I know, but I'm just saying it's spread to at least north-south a long way, like half of the continent.
I'm just saying that we probably can't make any assumptions right now.
Regardless, we have a lot of work ahead of us. We have to figure out what's going on in Drake's Landing and put an end to it.
What, did he say anything about that?
He said that's probably where it originated from, is all of this mess.
I don't know about you, but we already knew that's where it was going to originate from. That was where the altar was that these things were around.
Well, should get going and see what's going on.
Okay, well, this...
Obviously, it's gotten a lot worse than what we last saw it.
Yeah. Hopefully Blackwell knows. But this wagon works. It's not going to be the best ride, but it will work. I kind of look at Bungdo and kind of expectantly.
Bungo just stares back.
Well, we need a horse to pull it. You're the only one that I know that can turn into a horse.
Bungdo sighs and turn into a rhino.
We do have Trogdor Steed.
Well,
If the steed can pull it, great. If it needs help, I can transform.
Could probably pull it, but I don't trust my fat ass sitting on the wagon.
Well, you can't sit on your steed.
I could, but if I did, it wouldn't be able to pull the wagon.
Well, yeah.
'cause you're fucking lead armor.
Hey, this armor looked awesome when I bought it.
Yeah, but it weighs way too much. You
We'll
look
do
like
it.
you literally look like a bunker.
Isn't that the point?
I guess. Well, I guess at least you'll get really strong from lifting that heavy armor all the time.
As if I wasn't already strong.
So does Bungdo need to be a rhino?
Probably.
Damn it. Okay.
I
am
think
rhino.
it might be easier to hook up Bungdo to the lead if he was something smaller than a rhino.
Okay, I turn into a horse.
You can be a big giant horse, though, one of those really big ones.
Nope, regular horse.
You Clydesdale.
Warhorse.
Regular horse.
He's a
Just
little Shetland
generic
pony.
plain horse.
Are you Chestnut?
Indeed.
The little white star on your head?
Being that he's a gnome, is he smaller when he changes into animal forms?
He doesn't have to.
Oh. I wasn't sure.
No. You are a puny rhino.
Curious. So
Yeah.
I have the sending stone on me whilst I'm a rhino. Does that mean I can actually just have Togar translate for me instead of turning into a gnome?
It's kind
Isn't
of
it like once a day?
Okay, once a day, perfect.
And I don't think as an animal form you can use anything that you have.
Yeah, I think it melds into your skin.
Yeah, basically.
But, if somebody were to speak with animals, then they could communicate.
Oh, you mean like a druid?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a
So
horse now, so I'm pulling
Yep.
the cart.
Bungdo is a horse. He can pull a cart. So, what's the plan?
I guess just horse around till we get till we get where we need to go.
I guess it'll be me, Lilith, and Maya in the cart, and then Drogdor and a steed.
Yeah.
All right. And heading north.
To Drake's Landing.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
For the first little bit, I'm sitting like towards the back and keeping an eye out for a werewolf, a familiar werewolf.
A familiar werewolf. Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check. Okay. So, you travel for, well, better part of a reasonable travel day. Pushing about 8 hours. And while the weather certainly seems to, the rain seems to slow down a bit in places, never really seems to subside. So you find, Bungdo especially, you find that you're churning through this thick, sticky mud that collected where the dirt road once ran north and south along the coast. You pass by wagon after wagon, seemingly even more densely packed wreckage as you get closer to Drake's Landing.
Good.
You continue on past all of that to a point where the stony seaside cliffs that had kind of framed the road on the side begin to subside, and it's just more of a flat, kind of grassy plain leading up to the city itself. Seems you're still a day or two out, as you can't even make it out yet. But daylight hours go by uneventful, and you soon find yourselves in a position of, well, having to choose between either making camp or pushing out at night.
I vote making camp. We should
Yeah.
arrive there fresh.
Gavin's,
Let's. Huh?
Gavin's or anything nearby, and then make camp. What we can find.
We could just camp in the wagon.
Yeah, but while
Well,
we're
let's-
scavenging, I mean, while we're here, we might as well see what else is here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking to find improvements for the wagon.
Okay.
You know, maybe a wheel that fits.
Alright. Make an investigation.
Alright.
Alright. Yeah, I'd say now that the wreckage has become a little more dense and you've got more stock to choose from, so to speak, easy enough to find some parts that better fit your vehicle.
Cool.
And even though she was let out right before we started, I should probably take a break and let Sadie out. Because she's a whining. So, quick break and then we'll come back to it.
Alright.